Assalamu alaikum, boys and girls. I am very happy to be with you again. And this is a recorded video. I am going to record some of the next lessons that we have to cover. And I know you've been working on the akhlaq package. Make sure you finish everything. And if you have any questions, you can always email me, shaheen.khan@hadischool.org, or you can message me on Class Dojo or Google Classroom, and I will get that answered. So, inshallah, hopefully, you're working on that package because remember to complete everything. Each lesson that you complete helps you progress to another lesson, because if you don't finish those topics, then it will hinder or stop you from learning other subject that needs more understanding. So it's like a stepping stool or a ladder. Think of it as a ladder. Each ladder, you have to climb the ladder from one step at a time in order to accomplish or rise up. So remember to finish each of those exercises that we had that you are working on. And now I'm going to share you my screen, and then we are going today, the topic of our discussion is the terms in Islam. What are the all our actions are divided in five categories. And what are those five categories? And what are actions are divided in five categories. And what are those? We'll cover those. And I'm going to share my screen. And here you go. Sorry. Here, this is my uh, Fiqh vocabulary. So any action that we do, either it is wajib, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us to do. So all actions that we do, they are listed in five categories. So either the action is wajib, that is Allah wants us to do, it's a must, He wants us to do, or that action is haram. Haram is forbidden to do, or it is mustahab to do, which is better for you to do. And if it is, or it is makrooh for you to do, and it is that is, it's better not to do it, but it's makrooh is it's better not to do it. Mubah means it's okay to do it. Mubah is like jais. Mubah also has another term called jais. So we'll practice these terms and what are some of the actions associated with each of these terms or categories. So if we say something is wajib, what comes to your mind? What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? This is wajib on you. So wajib is you have to do it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us and knows that what is best for us. So something that is marked wajib, which He's saying you must do, there is benefit in that action, because otherwise He would not have made it compulsory. When Allah is saying that I expect you to do, this is wajib on you, means this is something that is very important to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and doing that not only benefits us more than Allah. So remember, Allah loves us and knows what is best for us. So some of the things that are wajib is wearing hijab. So when a girl turns 9, it is wajib for that girl to wear hijab. Hijab means covering. You cover everything from your hair to your the whole body except your face and your two hands. So that is wajib on girls to cover their head. What else is wajib? What else is wajib that you do 5 times a day, right? So that is namaz, salat. Salat is wajib because when you pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it helps us be a good person, a pious person. So namaz is wajib on us. Uh, so as you go along, they're asking you now put a big check mark across the page because wajib means you have to do it. I'm going to share this document in your mm, either in Google Classroom, so you can print it and you can work on this activity. Now put a big check across the page because wajib means you must do it. Okay, let's look at the next category. Haram. You should never do it. This is forbidden. So haram means doing this act is a sin and there are consequences. So like I said, when you do wajib, it has consequences. You are rewarded for it when we go to heaven. But when you do something haram, it has consequences. You should never do it because Allah knows what is not good for us. For example, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us not to eat haram food, when we don't eat haram food, it is good for our body. And you have seen because of the coronavirus, you've seen that people have been consuming bats. And when they consume bat, there are diseases that are in the bats got transferred in human being. And then the diseases got spread from one human to another human. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew what are some of the animals we should not eat. So that is haram, not just because Allah is saying it, it's because it's harmful for you. So harmful haram means Allah does not like you to do it. It's a sin. Another example is stealing is haram, taking money without permission, without taking anything without permission is if you think if you just take it and don't ask somebody for permission, then that is called, um, that is, if you steal it, you know what stealing means, right? So wherever you see something, action that is haram, put an X by it. Mustahab. You should try to do it. It's like doing a sunnat act. If you do, you get more sawab and reward, like extra credit. Allah loves it when we perform this action to get closer to Him. Like for example, visiting the sick person, reading a lot of Quran. So these are mustahab act, reading extra namaz, sunnat namaz, and so these are mustahab. And when you do extra dua, all these things are extra actions apart from the wajib action. After doing your wajib actions, when you do a mustahab act, which is it's like extra credit. So after that, if you do that, Allah gives you a lot of sawab. Sometimes the sawab is more just because you have done first your wajibat and then done your mustahab. So this counts like an extra credit. For example, if you go and work in a company and the company says, I'm going to give you $8 per hour if you work for 5 hours, I'll give you $8 for every hour that you work. But after you finish your work and say if you work extra 8 hours, I will give you time and a half. That means I'll give you extra money because you're going over your time. So that doesn't mean that a person can skip his regular pay regular work hours and say, oh, just because I'm getting more in my extra hours, I'll not work in the first 5 hours. I'll work in my extra hours. You cannot do that because your extra money is just because you have worked in the 5 hours previous, and now you're going over and beyond and working more extra hours. Then you get more sawas for those, more sawab, or more money, just because you are over, you're paying you because you're working overtime, because we're beyond your time. So mustahab is in the same way. If you do your wajibat and do extra credit, then Allah will give you extra sawab. This is also like an extra credit work that your teacher might ask you, even though she might give you an assignment, and you might go to her and say, can I do something else for extra credit? And then she will say, okay, this is extra credit. This will give you 10 points more if you work on this assignment. So it's the same way. It is a mustahab is going beyond what, after you do your homework, this is going beyond your homework. Makrooh. Makrooh is something you should try not to do it. So this is not a sin, but it is better not to do it. And this is on like a border line that Allah is saying, it's okay if you do it, but it's better not to do it. So like, for example, He's not going to punish you. For example, eating so much that you feel sick, So that's makruh. Um, some of these acts are sleeping more. So now put an X in the middle of the page because makruh means you should not try not to do it. Mubah. Mubah is allowed. It does not matter if you do it or not. So it's okay. That action is, it's part of, it's part of your life. It's okay. It's not, for example, sleeping, right? You have to sleep. So it's a day-to-day activity. So sleeping, remember, if you do something that is mubah with the intention to make, so any action that you do, even if you sleep, eat, walk, even as long as you make an intention that you're doing to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then action, that all action becomes holy. So make him happy to, so for example, if you sleep so your body can regenerate to wake up and do good deeds the next day, your sleep becomes mustahab. So, you can always, even simple things when you do, you can make an intention that you're doing it to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, if your parents ask you for water, when you take a glass of water to your parents, you can say, "Oh Allah, I'm giving this water to my parent or my mom or my dad, and I'm doing in your love, that I love you, and that's why I'm loving my parents, because I love you." And that will make that action, will get more reward for that action. Now here is a crossword that you can do. This is fun, I know you like it. And so this is some fun activity for you. And here, match the correct word with the correct picture. So what is wajib? So the actions are on the right, and you can just line them up. For example, we've talked about wearing hijab, reading Quran, sleeping, eating too much, saying bad words, eating pork. So what action would that be? And here I want you to write, not from these actions. I want you to think of something different. I want you to write down what are some other acts that are wajib. You must do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ask you to. What are something? What is mustahab? And what is mubah? What is makruh? And what else is haram? So we have in the past class we have discussed, and you can take help from your parents if you want. Discuss and write it. Either you can write it or draw it out. It's your choice. And so, inshallah, I'll post this worksheet for you to work on. And remember to all spend your time at home with your parents and enjoy your time and do some chores and learn something new, because this you are going to have one more week of spring break, and inshallah we'll see you soon. And if you have any question, let me know through either Google Classroom or Dojo, and inshallah I'll get back to you. Okay, fi amanillah.